Hello everyone, welcome to MD Media. This is a special show on Gala Tigray 2023 that will be held in Dallas, Texas from June 16th to 19th. You are watching MD Media. Understanding, measuring, and doing is what we try to contribute to for an evidence-led, evidence-rich discourse and decision making in the Horn of Africa. I'm pleased to be joined by my brother Gabriel Michael and Daniel Waldo today from Atlanta and Dallas. Daniel,
Denver.
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 Welcome. I'm happy to have you here, and we will talk about Wala Tigray. First off, Mavrat, what do you do? What is your role in this very important event and in the community organization behind Wala Tigray?
Wonderful. Good morning. My name is Mabrat Gavra, as Professor Getachew said. I am happy to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to come speak with you all about Wa'ala Tigray. I was born and raised in Denver, Colorado, but I live in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm a member here of the Tigray Community Atlanta. I was one of the first organizers of Wa'ala Tigray. We hosted our very first conference in Denver, Colorado in 2018. And I've kind of been behind the scenes assisting, new leaders in executing a successful Wa'ala for subsequent years. We've done virtual, in person last year, and now we're happy to celebrate Wa'ala again this year in Dallas.
Great. Welcome, Mavrat. Daniel.
Very good. Thank you, Professor Getachew, for the opportunity to come and speak on Wa'ala Tigray and its work in the past and in the future, as well as my sister Mavrat. It's good to see you here as we promote Wa'ala together. My full name is Daniel Waldo. I am from Denver, Colorado. I grew up in Tigray part of my life, and then the rest, the second half of it here in Denver. I'm a community organizer here locally, also on the PR team of Wa'ala. We work to advance the little Tigray we want to create here abroad in North America. And thank you for giving us the opportunity here to kind of go over that today.
Great, thank you, and welcome, Daniel. Yeah, let's start with the question of who is, the organization behind Wala Tigray. Wala Tigray is an event, an annual event, but there is a community organization behind that. Maybe we can start with that, Mavrat. So, the Tigray Communities Forum, um, what is that? When was it established? How does it work?
Tigray Communities Forum North America. It was started in 2016-2017 timeframe. It is an organization focused on Tigaro in the diaspora. So all of us here in the United States. With the Tigray Communities Forum, there are several different, I'll say, committees under the forum. A couple of them that we can name, and Danny can include, kind of elaborate on a lot of them, but there's an executive committee, a fundraising committee, investment committee, identity committee, women's committee, sports committee, PR committee, talent committee, Center for Advancement of Tigrayan Scholars, and the Tegaru Professionals Network. I'm one of 6 founders of the Tegaru Professionals Network, which was a committee under the forum. And this group kind of spearheaded the creation of the Tigray Communities Forum. It's an opportunity for member communities throughout North America to come together to talk about matters that concern our communities in a non-religious, non-political way. What can we do to support our youth? What can we do to support our elders? How do we preserve our culture, our history, our language? These are just some of the things that the forum has been executing in terms of programming since 2017. And I'll let Danny kind of expand on that as well.
Yeah, you did a wonderful job, right? So the committees, so Tigray Communities Forum is basically to be an inclusive place for all Tagaros to come and actually have a say and be represented. As Mara indicated, we have the Women's Committee, and in the past we have not covered some of the issues our women's faced in a safe space. So this would be an outlet for the Women's Committee to actually, tackle those issues in a safer space, right? The Center for the Advancement of Tigrayan Scholarship. That's a place for us to do research on our backgrounds, to understand who we are as people, the cultural heritages that we've had. And you were a part of it once in one of the events before, Professor Getachew. So you can attest to this. But the idea here is with all of the different subcommittees for us to come and represent and look at the issues that we face. And the issues that we face could be alleviated if we are actually taking advantage of our resources, our human capacity, as well as being represented in the nations that we live in outside of Tigray. That is the foundation of creating the little Tigray that we wanted to see here abroad.
Very interesting. Yes, I mean, if you look at organizations, community organizations of Tigrayans in different countries, it's either or. It's either those who were born, raised, middle-aged and above in Tigray, or those who are born and raised in the West or outside Tigray. I see Tigray Community Forum combination of different generations and different backgrounds and so on. So with that in mind, what kind of activities, I mean, Wala Tigray is one of them, and the different organizations like the Tigray Professionals Network, the Women's Group, and Mabrat, if you can speak to the different activities, highlights of what has been doing from since 2017.
Absolutely. So let me speak about the Tigray Professionals Network, because TPN is near and dear to my heart. As I shared, I'm one of 6 founders that created this organization, and it was a really great opportunity to work with our elders. A lot of times, to your point, Professor Getachew, like there's a gap between those who are involved, who can raise their hand to serve, et cetera. So it's been an awesome opportunity to bring our elders and our youngsters, as you guys call it, to come together so we can serve our community. And the Tigray Professionals Network has been doing that since we officially organized in 2018. We have several chapters that have been formed under TPN in Atlanta, in Dallas, in Chicago, the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia area, Tri-State, and then Pacific Northwest, which covers kind of the Seattle, Portland region. So through these chapters, we have organization on the national level through the Tigray Professionals Network national team, and then we have leadership teams in each individual chapter level. And we are committed to doing programming that covers what we call 4 programming pillars: personal and professional development, social action and civic engagement, networking, and mentorship. Some of the programs that we've done here in Atlanta under TPN has been an annual technology program for middle school and high school youth. One signature program that the Denver community does is Camp Tigray, bringing individuals together, young professionals, just to network with one another, build relationships with each other. The Dallas community or Dallas chapter is now hosting Wa'ala Tigray. So they get an opportunity to work with their local Tigray community elders, partner to host a wonderful conference that allows us to come together and talk about how we can strategically build for Tigray and Tigray. So that's just a high level overview of what TPN has done specifically in terms of programs. There's so much more that we've done over the past several years, but I'll just share those as a couple highlights.
Thank you, Mabrat. Daniel, anything to add on that, and any other activities outside TPN within the Tigray Community Forum?
Yeah, I think TPN is the future of what we believe to be the face of the Tigray Communities Forum. If you notice, a lot of the promotion, a lot of the work, a lot of the behind-the-scenes activities, the drafting of the documentations, all of it is done for the most part by our TPN members from the different chapters, as well as the national level. So first, I want to give the proper recognition to our TPN members who've worked tremendously over the past 5 years, 6 years or so, in making sure that the vision of the Tigray Communities Forum is realized. With that in mind, I want to go on to the other groups that actually are also doing the same level of work. The CATS team. The CATS team has hosted several events, seminars, day-long events where they one was the Ashenda, significance of Ashenda in our culture, and then also the one before that was media's involvement, our abilities to actually fight off misinformation, disinformation in our communities, and so much more was covered in that day event that happened. So two events were covered with online virtual settings. The Women's Committee has had several events where they recognize Mother's Day and Health Awareness Day, and then also kind of bridging the gap between children and parents. So several events have happened virtually that where services were provided to our community members, so they have a better understanding of that relationship that we have between the different stakeholders. From then on, I think at WALA's, the WALA events that we've had in the past, whether it was in Denver or Chicago, the ones in person, we've had a day-long events where we discuss different issues that we face, from mental health to financial literacy to political issues that we have, civil engagement. All of these were addressed in a day event, which took on last year, and many of our TPM members, as well as the different groups. The other important thing is economic empowerment. I think economic empowerment has been a lacking factor in our communities. And for that reason, our investment group, our one committee called Investment Group, has a Northbridge Connect, a company, an organization, an LLC that's created. If you understood, if you've gotten to see, we can go into details in the future, but the ambition is to create a little bank, Tigray Bank here and abroad for us. That's the long-term vision. And so when you look at the different activities and the different things that are taking place to get us to the bigger vision of creating Little Tigray, I think the Tigray Communities Forum collectively is doing the work that's necessary. So I hope we will have those discussions in the future.
I can't help but, you mentioned a couple of times a little Tigray, creating it here. I think this is a very important point because talking about, again, generations, there has been a disconnection in my view. I could be wrong, but the senior people or above middle age, there is always this ambition or hope that they will go back one day to Tigray and do something there. So maybe not establishing something here, right? And then the younger generation, well established here, this is where everything is going to happen, and a disconnection with Tigray. Again, from what you are saying, is that the little Tigray you are talking about is doing both? Am I right?
Correct. Let me answer this, and I'll pass it to Marat. I think Marat will do a very well job of collecting all my thoughts and delivering it. But so there is a big Tigray. Big Tigray is our home. No question about that. I think in the past couple of years, we've fought tremendously in bringing awareness and advocacy work. So there is no forgetting of home. The big home is Tigray, as it is on the land in the Horn of Africa. But the little Tigray we want to see here is a place that we call as a second home. We have our immediate home, our parents are from, our generation, something that we can trace back. But here abroad, we will most of us will probably live here the rest of our lives. Our children will be raised here, our grandchildren will be raised here, just like many of other ethnic groups that come from different parts of the world. Other nationalities that come here, they make a home for themselves. So we're taking a lesson from other communities that have actually done a wonderful job of preserving their culture, heritage, and their way of living abroad outside of their initial home. And that's the little Tigray that we want to create here. And I want to pass it to Mother so she could. I know she's going to do a wonderful job of.
No, well said, Danny. It is our belief that if we want to help our people back home, we have to help ourselves here. We live here in North America. We are sometimes members of our local governments, our communities, whatever that looks like. But if we are not actively taking care of ourselves here, mentally, emotionally, financially, physically, how can we help our people back home? So the focus of Tigray Communities Forum is Let us do what we need to do to support each other as community members here in North America so that we can build up this wealth. We can build up healthy discourse, a great community in all our respective cities that will then be able to help our people back home. Right now, a lot of us, and what we're used to doing is we always just send all of our resources back home all the time, all the time, all the time. And we forget about our children who grow up here. We forget about our parents who are still living here. So it's a way to try to figure out how to bridge that gap by ensuring that we are taking care of ourselves in order to be better for Big Tigray.
Great. It makes a lot of sense. Let's zoom in into Gala Tigray. That will be happening in a month from today, almost. So this is the third time happening, maybe. So can you speak to that? What is Gala Tigray? For those who don't speak Tigray as well, what's Gala, Danny?
Well, Wa'ala Tigray is Wa'ala Madat. It's basically a form. Wa'ala and form are just synonym name. The term is form. And essentially what it means is come together. Let's be under the same roof. Let's discuss. Let's talk. Let's enjoy each other's company. Let's dance. Let's express ourselves and be joyous with our people. It's a celebration of unity. It's a celebration of strength. It's a celebration of self-awareness. It's a celebration of self-reliance. We are our only hope in life, and we are all we need. I think a lot of times we don't understand the abilities that we have within us. If you see the tremendous folks of TPN alone, it's enough to carry the communities that we have here in the diaspora and in North America. So Wa'ala is essentially a place, a base, a home that we can go to, but at the same time, it's a way for us to create a home for that local community. It's us going into a community and saying, we collectively have come together to help you build a community center, a center that you can bring all of your stakeholders, your people from within your local community to come together and understand the issues, the challenges that you face. At the same time, also move forward into getting yourselves to the next phase of what you need to be financially, economically, financially, all being together, health-wise, gender, social issues, immigration issues. Like there's so many issues that we face on a daily basis that if we do not start having the roots, the underlining basis for where those could be addressed, then we don't seem to exist at a later time. One quote that I want to tell you that my mentor, Melrat's mentor, Adam Mulgeta, the founder of Tigray Communities Forum, said, when you think about the forum, when we think about Tigrayans in the diaspora, think of what would we look like 100 years from now? And what does Tigrayan look like 100 years from now? And so when you see that and you start to kind of process that in your head, you start to think, if we don't do the necessary things today that are going to have and preserve and have established spaces across the country and local communities, we probably will not exist as people. 2-3 generations down, we may just disappear into the grand population of the United States and not really understand the significance of being a Tigrayan. So that is the main reason that we hold Gala. But I'll pass it to my sister, Brad. I think she's been involved in planning and coordinating a lot, so she would speak more into this.
Just to echo what Danny had shared, so Wa'ala Tigray Forum, Tigray, what we call Tigray Forum, was, and let me clarify because I may have misspoke on the dates. So the Tigray Communities Forum is the organization that was established in about 2017. Tigray Professionals Network was established in 2018. We hosted our very first Tigray Communities Wa'ala Tigray Forum in 2019 in Denver, Colorado. We all know we had this global pandemic that has affected us in 2020 and 2021. So we opted to do virtual conferences. And then in 2022, we were able to host Wa'ala Tigray in Chicago. So we're so excited to now host Wa'ala Tigray 2023 in Dallas, Texas. And every year, a host city is selected for Wa'ala Tigray. And it's the goal of fundraising, to Danny's point, to build a community center in that respective community. So this year, we're focusing on the Tigray community of Dallas. Next year, it could be your respective community in your city. The way we organize it is 80% of the proceeds that are collected throughout the weekend of conferences, events, workshops, etc. That 80% is going to go to the Tigray community of Dallas. And then 20% of the conference proceeds will go back to the Tigray communities North America, so that we can use those funds towards community initiatives, programming from all the various committees that we shared, and even scholarships. And there's quite a few member communities in the Tigray Community Forum, not only Dallas and Atlanta, as we mentioned, in Denver, but Houston, Chicago, Columbus, Jacksonville, Florida, South Carolina, Kentucky, Tennessee, Los Angeles and Santa Monica and San Diego, all in California, Portland, Seattle, Las Vegas, Phoenix, Minnesota, Tri-State, North Carolina. So these are all member communities in the Tigray Communities Forum. And there's an opportunity for one of these committees, or communities rather, who could host the forum for next year.
Great. So on Wa'ala Tigray 2023 in Dallas, Texas, it's 3 days, 16 and maybe even 4 days. So what's going to happen there? So maybe we can start with a welcoming message from the community there, and then we'll talk about what's going to happen there. We'll be back.
ሰላም ሹመይ ማዓርግ ታደሰ ያለው በሃል ነባርነተይ ኣብ ዳላስ ቴክሳስ እዩ ኣብዚ ናይ ትግራይ ኮሚኒቲ ዳላስ ድማ ኣብ ወንበር ኮይነ የገልግል
ሃይላይት ተክለ ሃይማኖት ወልዱ ይበሃል ናይ ትግራይ ኮሚኒቲ ኣብ ዳላስ ፎርት ወርዝ ምክትል ኣምቦ በረ
ስመይ ዶክተር ብርሃነ ኣድሓኖም ደሞዝ ይበሃል ኣብዚ ናይ ዳላስ ቴክሳስ ዘሎ ናይ ተጋሩ ማሕበር ነባር ማሕበርተኛ እየ እንደገና ኣሒዝ ናይ ትሬጀር ኮይነ የዘገልግል ዘለኹ
ስመይ እሸቱ በሃል ነባርነቴ ኣብዚ ኣብ ዳላስ እዩ ኣብ ማሕበር ተጋሩ ኣብ ዳላስን ፎርት ወርዝን ናይ ፋይናንስ ኦፊሰር እየ
ሰላም ሳቤላ ወሰን በሃል ኣብ ዳላስ እየ ዝነብር ናይ ዳላስ ትግራይ ኮሚኒቲ ናይ ሶሻል ኣፌርስ ኤንድ ካልቸር ኦፊሰር እየ
ሰላም ሽመይ ብስራት መዝገበ በሃል ኣብ ዳላስ ትግራይ ማሕበር ጸሓፊት እየ
ሽመይ ታደሰ ኪዳነ ይበሃል ነባርነተይ ኣብ ዳላስ ቴክሳስ እዩ ኣብ ናይ ማሕበር ተጋሩ ዳላስ ፎርት ወርዝ ከም ፓብሊክ ሪሌሽን ወይ ከዓ ህዝቢ ርክብ ኮይነ ኣብ ምግልጋል ርከብ
ዋዕላ ትግራይ ናይ ሎም ዘበን ኣብ ዳላስ ምኽባሩ ነቲ ኩሉ ሻዕ ንህንቀወ ነበርና ኮሚኒቲ ሴንተር ናይ ምዕዳግ ዓብይ ዕድል ዝፈጠረ ኣጋጣሚ ኮይኑሎ
ዋዕላ ትግራይ ናብ ዳላስ ቴክሳስ ምምጽኡ ብጣዕሚ ዓብይ ዕድል እየ ኢለ ዝግምትኒ ቴክሳስ ምክንያቱ ናይ ቀደም መማህርትና ናይ ቀደም መታዓቢትና ኩሎም ተጋሩ ዝተኣኻኸብሉ ኢቨንት እዩ ሓደ ስለዚ ምስ ቤተሰብ ስለንራኸበሉ ብጣዕሚ ዓብይ ዕድል ቴክሳስ ማለት እዩ ብተወሳኺ ከዓ ኣብ ኖርዝ ኣሜሪካ ብምሉእ ዘሎ ትግራዋይ ንኸዓቢ ንማኸረሉ ወርክሾፕ ንገብረሉ ኮንፈረንስታት ንገብረሉ ካልቸርና ኢንተርቴይን ንገብረሉ ክስታይ ናብ ቴክሳስ ስለ ዝመፀ ብጣዕሚ ደስ ዝብል ነገር እዩ
ዋዕላ ትግራይ ናብ ዳላስ ብምምጽኡ ኣብ ዳላስ ፎርት ወርዝ ዘለና ተጋሩ ናይ ባዕልና ናይ ኮሚኒቲ ሴንተር ስለ ዘይብልና ፋይናንሻሊ ዓብይ ሓገዝ ከም ዝኸውን ተስፋ ይገብር
Wa'ala Tigray Dallas coming to Dallas means that not only are we getting a community center, but we are building it together. All Tagaru from all over the United States, Canada, everywhere, we're building it together. So it is not just the Dallas community, but it's all Tagaru's community. So it's Little Tigray. Come to us this year and we'll come to you next year. Thank you.
It means a lot. It means support. Having people over to support Dallas to own their own community center is a big deal in Dallas, and we need it since we have big Tigray community in Dallas. We need our own center where we can come together with our kids to enjoy each other's company and to learn from each other and to support each other.
ኩሎም ፋሚሊታት ምስ ደቀም መጽኦም ቫኬሽን ልክዕኸም ቫኬሽን ተጠቂሞም ህዝቢ ዝራኸብሉ መሓዙት ደቂ ዓዲ ከምኡውን ባህልናን ቅርስታትናን ኣመጋግባና ኣከዳድናና ንቀያየረሉን ንረኣየሉን ኮይኑ ረኺበ ኣለኹ
ሕዚ ዘለናዮ ኣብ ሮክዋል ሌክ ኢና ጁን 19 ናይ ፋሚሊ ኣክቲቪቲ ንገብረሉ ቦታ እዩ እዚ ቦት ራይድ ክንገብር ኢና እንደን ካብቲ ቦት ወፃኢ ድማ ባርቤኪዩ ካልኦት ደቅና ዝኸውን ኣክቲቪቲታት ንገብር ኢና እና እዚ ከየምልጠና ቀዲምኩም ትኬት ብምቑራፅ ናይ ፍላይትኩም ሆቴልኩም መእተዊ ትኬት ካብ በኸዚ ክትዕድጉ የተሓሳስብ
እሞ ተጋሩ ደቂ ዓደይ ንፅበየኩም ኣለና እዚ ዳላስ ፎርት ወርዝ ይበሃል እዚ ኤርያ ትሪእዎ ዘለኹም ራክዌል ይበሃል እና ዋዕላ ብደንብ ክነስተናግደኩም በተለይ ትማ ይኹን ናይ ዋዕላ ኮሚኒቲ ብሓጎስን ብፍቕርን ይፅበየኩም ዘሎ
ሓንቲ ነገር ክብል ደሊ ትሕል ዘይትመጽኹምኩም if you're not attending in person just buy the ticket as a support to Dallas support us buy the ticket thank you ዋዕላ ትግራይ
ንዋዕላ ትግራይ ዳላስ ብሰላም ምፁ ዋዕላ ትግራይ ዳላስ
Beautiful. Yeah. I think many will be motivated to go after watching this very warm, welcoming message from Dallas community. Those who want to buy a ticket and get other information, I have pinned the link for everything about Wa'ala Tigray in Dallas 2023. So you can look at the comment section and it's a pinned link there. Okay, so let's go deeper into Wa'ala Tigray 2023. Mabrat, what should people expect? There were some kind of nuggets there in the video as well, but if you can walk us through that.
Absolutely. What a great welcome video from some of the Dallas community leaders. That was members of the Tigrayan Mutual Assistance Association. They call themselves TIMA, which is the local Tigray community board. And they are working in partnership with TPN Dallas as well to host the weekend activities. So as they shared, it's going to be Friday, June 16th through Monday, June 19th in Dallas. You can fly into two airports, either Dallas Fort Worth or Dallas Love Field, either one. And it's going to be a jam-packed weekend. Day one, which would be Friday, is going to be some workshops. We'll have a soccer and basketball tournament, which will go kind of throughout the weekend. Well, and then Friday night will be kind of the welcome, our formal gala event, inviting individuals to come and celebrate with us with live music. Day two is going to be our, as it's shown on the screen. So Friday night is our formal gala with DJ Davino International. All of our events are going to be held at the Mesquite Convention Center. So you can book a room at the hotel, which is attached to the convention center. You don't even have to drive. You leave your hotel room to come to the conference rooms or the ballrooms for us to celebrate together Friday night. On day two, which would be kind of Saturday, during the day, we'll have workshops. Again, we'll also have a networking brunch, and that's going to be the bulk of our conference will be on Saturday. After we talk about several different matters that concern our communities from an economic perspective, health perspective, mentally, emotionally, et cetera, as we mentioned. And then Saturday night, we'll have our cultural gala. So you see this lineup of beautiful entertainers, live entertainment who will celebrate with us on Saturday evening. And then Sunday is what we call day three. Sunday will be a run for Tigray. There'll be a 5K and a 1K for adults and youth who are interested in running with the organization. We'll continue with networking brunch, conference activities, and then Sunday evening, we will have this community gala with additional live entertainment and opportunity for us to come together, fundraise, maybe auction some items. It's just going to be a great, fun weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday, historically in the United States, is called Juneteenth. A lot of individuals have that day off. The conference continues on Monday, June 19th as well. And that is going to be the family day activities that Mr. Ma'areg was talking about. So in the video, they showcase where they were by the water. There'll be a boat party. There'll be different fun activities, grilling, just things for adults and for kids alike. So this is definitely a family event. It's not just for, adults in the community. We do invite you to bring your children, and just make sure you register for the conference for the weekend so that you can participate in the 5K run or the 1K run. Sign up for the basketball tournaments and the soccer tournaments. Join the community discussions, and then we'll have fun together in the evening galas.
Danny, anything to highlight in terms of Allah Tigray?
Yeah, I think Mabra did a wonderful job kind of walking through the 4-day events that happened. All I wanted to add is some of the deadlines that we have for some of the events. The first thing being the 5K, register for that as soon as you can. Secondly, the basketball tournament. The basketball tournament, there's a deadline to when you need to sign up. That is May 19th. And then the soccer tournament, we need to also make sure that we sign up for it hell in advance. I don't see that there's a date on here, but make sure that you coordinate with your cities, your teams, and then kind of make sure you sign up so that they have an account for you and they can walk you through it. The other main thing is making sure that you book your hotels, your flights appropriately, just like my brothers discussed on the 2 airports that are in the city. We have a group code for the Hampton Inn and Suites, Dallas Mesquite location. There's a group discount, which is Wa'ala Tigray. So if you call them to do that, there's a link to get you on the link tree. The link tree should be on there to get you to their website to book your hotels. This will be right next to the conference center, the convention center that we're holding this in. And then huge emphasis on purchasing your tickets in advance. If you do not purchase your tickets in advance, there will be a capacity cut. So make sure that you're buying your tickets online well in advance. The other thing is it's on a discount. So the 3-day event you can purchase for $250, I believe, is the total. If not individually, they're just $100 each. So it makes sense for you to purchase them well in advance so that you do not get, you don't have those struggles at the door. The other thing is everything else is free. So all of the other events that we have, all of the day events, meet together, the networking events, all of that's free. So we want to make sure that people know that you're helping, but at the same time, there's a lot of value in coming. There's a lot of opportunities to meet a lot of people. This could advance your networking. There's a lot to gain. So I really, really encourage everybody to go ahead and sign up to all the events, volunteer, help out, because there's a lot of value in that as well. And then book your flights, book your hotels. Those are the main things that I want to touch on.
Great. So, like I was saying, everything is in one on one page. So from the ticket to Allah Tigray to the hotel, if you want to become a vendor, a sponsor, everything is here in terms of volunteering. Let me share it. Yeah. So even the run and walk registration, the basketball tournament registration, everything is here. So it's linked in, it's pinned on the comment section of the YouTube channel of UMD Media. Yeah. So in terms of what happens next, is it decided at the last day? Is that how it works? Like, for example, for next year, who would be the host city, host community, and so on?
So the Tigray Communities Forum, the executive committee is having those discussions now. So we hope that during Wa'ala Tigray weekend in Dallas, we'll be able to announce where the 2024 conference will be held. So you'll just have to come to find out.
Great. I mean, from what we covered in this show, there is a lot to have, separate shows about TPN, about the women's group, about, CAT, and, everything that, even in terms of institutionalization, right? What I see here is a number of organizations coming together, and how do you do that? And all this, between generations, between different backgrounds, aspirations, and aspiring for that little Tigray you both excellently articulated. So before we finish today, I just want to ask you if you were to envision what Wala Tigray would be doing, alluding to what Daniel mentioned, Ato Murgeta said, um, 20 years from now, what do you see Wala Tigray Community Forum, doing? What do you want to see? What do you see happening?
I'll take a stab at that. Wow, it's something I think about. I do think about this, where we would be if we just continue to work together, to think critically about how we can improve as individuals and as a people, as a community. I think if we continue to be consistent down this path of coming together, talking about what's important to us, investing our funds in the community, we will be a more self-sufficient community. We will be stronger individuals. We will have great networks within the community, and I think it will allow us to build more networks outside of the community. So I really do believe that if we just continue working hard at communicating, taking care of each other, supporting each other, growing together as a community, 10, 20, 30, 100 years from now, we could be one of the strongest communities in the world.
Great. Danny?
That's incredible. Just like Marwa said, I think about this all the time too. I think in the past couple of years, we've seen a lot of our community members pass. We've lost any individuals that are super young and in their 20s, maybe even teens, all the way into seniors in their 60s and 70s. And when you see that, there was a lack of resources. There's a lack of coming together and assisting one another. We could have prevented some of those things. And when I think about what WALA could do through our communities forum overall, with all of the different committees, in the next 30, 40, 50 years, even in our lifetime, hopefully we would see that, one, we're economically self-sufficient, like Marwa said. I think one of the biggest issues that we have is that we don't have a robust financial literacy in our community. And I think we can provide that to make sure that people are taking advantage of the resources that they have here in the diaspora. That's one of the main things. Two is health. I think we abandon our health a lot. And as a community, we can come together and alleviate some of those issues so that there's a proper awareness that we get to live our full lives. And we are at least given that the opportunity to live our full lives. Third, and most importantly, it's preserving our way of living, our culture, our religions, our customs, all of that. We get to preserve it if we have WALA in the communities. So there's so many things that can come out of WALA Tigray being successful and actually exceeding in different parts of this country. But at the same time, it's just we all having our homes. I can go to Atlanta and I want to go to the Tigray community in Atlanta, go over there, hang out with the Tagarus, and we have that networking system between all of us across the country, so that we don't feel alone. We're in this journey together as people, as Tagarus abroad. So that's what I envision to see for Wala Tigray or Tigray Communities Forum in general.
Okay, great. This is very important, especially there will be a lot of multiplying effect in terms of how to do and providing a template, if you will, for other communities in Europe and Middle East and elsewhere. So I think it's very good. And then is there anything that would be live streamed from Dallas, or it would be recorded and made available on your website? How does that work?
That's a great question. I believe we will have certain events being live streamed with some of our Tigrayan media partners, but we will share that information. We'll be forthcoming with that information later as we get closer to the dates.
Okay, great.
More shared afterwards. I think we will be recording the content, the events, and we'll be basically kind of streaming it out on YouTube and through the various social media platforms that we have, just so people understand what took place. So I think you can see some of that from Chicago. You can see some of it from Denver through TMH and other media platforms that have shared the previous events. But this time we'll actually invest more in showcasing where Wala is, because I think that's important. We should definitely see that.
Great. So our viewers, you see on the screen the most important website address from our today's show, where you will see everything, the information, what it is, and how to buy tickets, how to register, how to book. Everything is in that address. That is Linktree Wala Tigray 2023, and it's also pinned on the comment section of our YouTube channel. With that, we'll finish today's show. Thank you for your time, Mavrat Gabriel from Atlanta and Daniel Waldo from Denver. And hope to see you all, those who are watching today's show live and afterwards in Dallas, Texas with Wala Tigray 2023. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. See you in Dallas.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Before we sign off, I will play the welcoming message, a very warm welcoming message from the community in Dallas, Texas.
ነባርነተይ ኣብ ዳላስ ቴክሳስ ሰላም ሽመይ ማዓርግ ታደሰ ያለው ይበሃል ነባርነተይ ኣብ ዳላስ ቴክሳስ እዩ ኣብዚ ናይ ትግራይ ኮሚኒቲ ዳላስ ድማ ኣባ ወንበር ኮይነ የገልግል
ሃይላይት ተክለ ሃይማኖት ወልዱ ይበሃል ናይ ትግራይ ኮሚኒቲ ኣብ ዳላስ ፎርት ወርዝ ምክትል ኣምቦ በሬ
ስመይ ዶክተር ብርሃነ ኣድሓኖም ደሞዝ ይበሃል ኣብዚ ናይ ዳላስ ቴክሳስ ዘሎ ናይ ተጋሩ ማሕበር ነባር ማሕበርተኛ እየ እንደገና ኣሒዝ ናይ ትሬጀር ኮይነ የዘገልግል ዘለኹ
ስመይ እሸቱ ይበሃል ነባርነተይ ኣብዚ ኣብ ዳላስ እዩ ኣብ ማሕበር ተጋሩ ኣብ ዳላስን ፎርት ወርዝን ናይ ፋይናንስ ኦፊሰር እየ
ሰላም ሳቤላ ወሰን ይበሃል ኣብ ዳላስ እየ ዝነብር ናይ ዳላስ ትግራይ ኮሚኒቲ ናይ ሶሻል ኣፌርስ ኤንድ ካልቸር ኦፊሰር እየ
ሰላም ሽመይ ብስራት መዝገበ ይበሃል ኣብ ዳላስ ትግራይ ማሕበር ጸሓፊት እየ
ሽመይ ታደሰ ኪዳነ ይበሃል ነባርነተይ ኣብ ዳላስ ቴክሳስ እዩ ኣብ ናይ ማሕበር ተጋሩ ዳላስ ፎርት ወርዝ ከም ፓብሊክ ሪሌሽን ወይ ከዓ ህዝቢ ርክብ ኮይነ ኣብ ምግልጋል ይርከብ
ዋዕላ ትግራይ ናይ ሎም ዘበን ኣብ ዳላስ ምኽባሩ ነቲ ኩሉ ሻዕ ንህንቀወ ነበርና ኮሚኒቲ ሴንተር ናይ ምዕዳግ ዓብዪ ዕድል ዝፈጠረ ኣጋጣሚ ኮይኑ ኣሎ
ዋዕላ ትግራይ ናብ ዳላስ ቴክሳስ ምምፅኡ ብጣዕሚ ዓብዪ ዕድል እየ ኢለ ዝግምትኒ ቴክሳስ ምክንያቱ ናይ ቀደም መማህርትና ናይ ቀደም መታዓቢትና ኩሎም ተጋሩ ዝተኣኻኸብሉ ኢቨንት እዩ ሓደ ስለዚ ምስ ቤተሰብ ስለንራኸበሉ ብጣዕሚ ዓብዪ ዕድል ቴክሳስ ማለት እዩ ብተወሳኺ ከዓ ኣብ ኖርዝ ኣሜሪካ ብምሉእ ዘሎ ትግራዋይ ንኸዓቢ ንማኸረሉ ወርክሾፕ ንገብረሉ ኮንፈረንስታት ንገብረሉ ካልቸርና ኢንተርቴይን ንገብረሉ ክስታይ ናብ ቴክሳስ ስለ ዝመፀ ብጣዕሚ ደስ ዝብል ነገር እዩ
ዋዕላ ትግራይ ናብ ዳላስ ብምምፅኡ ኣብ ዳላስ ፎርት ወርዝ ዘለና ተጋሩ ናይ ባዕልና ናይ ኮሚኒቲ ሴንተር ስለ ዘይብልና ፋይናንሻሊ ዓብዪ ሓገዝ ከም ዝኸውን ተስፋ ይገብር
Wa'ala Tigray Dallas coming to Dallas means that not only are we getting a community center, but we are building it together. All Tagaru from all over the United States, Canada, everywhere, we're building it together. So it is not just the Dallas community, but it's all Tagaru's community. So it's Little Tigray. Come to us this year and we'll come to you next year. Thank you.
It means a lot. It means support. Having people over to support Dallas to own their own community center is a big deal in Dallas, and we need it. Since we have big Tigray community in Dallas, we need our own center where we can come together with our kids to enjoy each other's company and to learn from each other and to support each other.
ኩሎም ፋሚሊታት ምስ ደቀም መፅኦም ቫኬሽን ልክዕ ከም ቫኬሽን ተጠቂሞም ህዝብን ህዝቢ ዝራኸብሉ መሓዙት ደቂ ዓዲ ከምኡ እውን ባህልናን ቅርስታትናን ኣመጋግባና ኣከዳድናና ንቀያየረሉን ንረኣየሉን ኮይኑ ረኺብ ኣለኹ
ሕዚ ዘለናዮ ኣብ ሮክዋል ሌክ ኢና ጁን 19 ናይ ፋሚሊ ኣክቲቪቲ ንገብረሉ ቦታ እዩ እዚ ቦት ራይድ ክንገብር ኢና እንደን ካብቲ ቦት ወፃእን ድማ ባርቤኪው ካልኦት ደቅና ዝኸውን ኣክቲቪቲታት ንገብር ኢና እና እዚ ከየምልጠና ቀዲምኩም ትኬት ብምቑራፅ ናይ ፍላይትኩም ሆቴልኩም መእተዊ ትኬት ካብ ከዚ ክትዕድጉ የተሓሳስብ
እሞ ተጋሩ ደቂ ዓደይ ንፅበየኩም ኣለና እዚ ዳላስ ፎርት ወርዝ ይበሃል እዚ ኤርያ ትሪእዎ ዘለኹም ራክዌል ይበሃል እና ዋዕላ ብደንብ ክነስተናግደኩም በተለይ ትማ ይኹን ናይ ዋዕላ ኮሚኒቲ ብሓጎስን ብፍቕርን ይፅበየኩም ዘሎ
ሓንቲ ነገር ክብል ደሊ ትሕር ዘይትመጽኹምኩም if you're not attending in person just buy the ticket as a support to Dallas support us buy the ticket thank you ዋዕላ ትግራይ
ንዋዕላ ትግራይ ዳላስ ብሰላም ምጹ ዋዕላ ትግራይ ዳላስ
اوكي قدم مودانا ملكت الله لو معنتي in 2 hours دحر قلت ساعات مس ليتنا جنرال تادس ورده وحس سلامن دحننات تግራይ بزول ملسنا خنراخبينا دكتور جنرال تادس اخير ايام زلو هذي ግን كمسي إن أنا تقاصرنا لنا إن دحر قلت ساعات تصبينا and tomorrow صباح دما مس 90 ናይ ዝሓለፈ ናይ ቦርድ ኣባል ዝነበሩ ህዝቡ ናይ ዝሕዝ ዘሎ ናይ ቦርድ ኣባል ዝኾኑ ዶክተር ኣብራር ፍትዊ ከምኡውን ምስ ኣርቲስት ብርሃነ ሃይለ ሕልፉን እዋናዊ ኩነታት ትግራይ ሚድያ ሃውስ ምልከት ኣብቲ ጀመርናዮ ዘተ ክንገብር ኢና ማለት እዩ ፅባሕ 9 am Eastern Time ላይቭ ተፀበዩና ኣብዚ ብዚ ኢና ክንሰናበተኩም ስለተኸታተልኩምና ብጣዕሚ ነመስግን ድሓር ንራኸብ ደሕና ዋዕሉ ሰላም